All right, so that was John Harbaugh talking about camping in West Virginia this year because Giants are redoing their facility, so they're in the beautiful mountains of West Virginia, and it's a new attitude for the Giants, and I think it's a new attitude for us. We are angry football fans, but at least on the Giants side of the ball, we got some things to look forward to this year with John Harbaugh and a couple of draft picks and a lot of exciting stuff. So we'll talk about camp. We'll talk about some non-football things like the New York Knickerbockers.
Woohoo!
We'll talk
Oh
about our
yeah.
pet peeves, and we got a lot of questions. This is season 7 of the Three Angry Giant Fans and a Jet Fan podcast, and we're looking forward to a lot of good things in the season. So we'll talk about that as we get into it. But boys, I know we did a couple episodes in the off season, but it's really good to be back in the fold now that training camp started. We're in training camp ourselves. We might make some
That's right.
mistakes.
Yeah, and just like any good NFL player, I have I've neglected to come to the facility for the first couple of weeks of our season. So now it's official. It's mandatory, I guess, because I'm here. So I won't be missing anymore.
I want to assure our listeners, though, Mike did not get a bump in pay.
No, I did. I didn't. I held out, and turns out that our base pay, which is 0, is non-negotiable.
Yeah, I was thinking about holding out. So I'm, but glad my agent and we were able to work things out. So I'm just looking forward to season 7 with you guys. Let's get it started. And once the calendar flips to August, that's finally when we can start thinking about football, right?
Yep.
I know we're going to talk about the Knicks. That was what a run that was. And if anything, if we could take any momentum, either one of our New York teams going into the fall from what the Knicks did in the spring would be just unbelievable. What an amazing feeling to feel like a champion again. So I think we've talked off air about where the hell is our next championship coming from as far as our sports teams, and man, did the Knicks deliver. So if we could roll any of that, take some of that energy, fervor, and good vibes into our Giants and Jets seasons, we'll have a hell of a year, guys. So looking forward to it. Let's get it started, man.
I
Yeah, I
agree.
mean, it was just the most incredible feeling. Now, you guys have experienced it with the Giants quite a bit and the Yankees for Scott and Cardone, but I really hadn't since 1986. I mean, you can put the 94 Rangers in there, and you would think like I wouldn't be as into the Jets this year, but it kind of motivated me more to like want them to be good. I thought maybe I would not feel as into it, but I'm more into it because I'm like, man, I want that feeling back because it was unbelievable. Like I can't,
Yeah. It,
it was just wild.
it was. And, it's funny. Cardone mentioned it. We had been talking about where's our next championship coming from, right? So by the way, if this were the Three Angry Knicks Fans podcast, there would not be the need for and a Nets fan. Every one of us here
Everyone, yeah,
is a
that
Knicks
is
fan.
correct.
So that would fix that little problem we have. But no, I think statistically at the time we were saying that it was the Knicks, but I don't think any of us actually thought it would be the Knicks.
No,
So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
You know what, too, Mike? You just touched upon it, though. It is the only team that all 4 of us unanimously pull for.
that is
Yeah.
true.
No,
Yeah.
no.
So, and I mean, like Cardone likes the Devils. We all pull for a different team in one of the major sports, except for the Knicks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and we got to watch a couple of games together, and that was a
Which was
ton of
awesome.
fun. And
Yeah.
you know, that's the only thing that would be different for me if the Jets were ever to win, which they won't. I feel a lot more isolated, but in a way, it would be more about me. Like it was more of a community win. Everyone I know is a Knicks fan. Like so many guys that I
Yeah.
grew up with from New
Yeah.
Jersey, and
Yeah.
so which was really exciting and a great way to do it. And just what a wild, incredible, never see it again run that we saw there. I mean, we just won't see anything like that again.
Nope.
Dude, I was in Norway on vacation in June. So a good, quarter of the way around the world, and freaking the Knicks were global, man, because there were guys over there, people I was running into in Norway that were
Mhm.
we were because the Knicks had just won. I remember telling you guys that. So I obviously had that vacation planned, months in advance, however long it was, and didn't not thinking the Knicks would be in the finals. How are you supposed to predict that kind of stuff? And I remember telling you guys, I'm like, holy shit, the Knicks, if that goes game 6 or 7, I'm going to be in Norway. While over there, how the hell am I going to watch the game and all that? I was worried about. I'm like, well, somehow the Knicks need to pull it off in 5 or 4. Not really believing that would happen, and man, did they pull it out? So for me, I had that my own personal reasons to finish that series off, and they did it, and we're still going to live off that for a year, guys. So
we
easily for a year.
We all watched game 1 together at Cardone's place, and then I, much like Cardone, went on vacation, but I went earlier than him. So I was in Prague for game 4.
Yeah.
So I missed the miraculous game in terms of seeing the tip in, and then the clincher. I saw the first part of it and then fell asleep because it was like 3 a.m. out there. But as soon as I got to Vienna, which was the next city we went to, get on the elevator to go up to our room, and there's a guy in there with a Knicks jersey on, and I said, "Knicks fan?" He's like, "Yeah, man, I'm from New York." He goes, "I can't believe I missed it." So like a bunch of us were commiserating, but it was still a great time. I had a great time with you guys. We were in the New York airport before flying out to Prague, and there were people in the airport. It was bringing everyone together. Everyone's like, "Go Knicks, go Knicks!" Even though no one was wearing Knicks stuff necessarily. Just people were saying it walking down the concourse, which is awesome. So we had a lot of downloads this offseason. I think people were checking out the podcast. Even though we didn't have really fresh material. I mean, we did do a draft recap. We did a free agency recap, but we got a shout out to give out. So this comes from the great state of Texas. So hello, McKinney, Texas. Population 207,500. It's a suburb of Dallas. It's the 3rd largest suburb. And McKinney was founded in 1848 and was an agricultural powerhouse. They had corn, wheat, and oats. And for that time, they had 4 cotton gins going on. Now they focus on industry with Raytheon Aerospace as the largest employer. And it's the home of William Calhoun. Do you guys know who William Calhoun is better known as?
Sounds familiar, but I don't know.
Any relation to Art Vandelay? Who's
he is Haystack Calhoun.
Oh,
from wrestling. It's also the home of Tom Kite, who always looked more like a CPA than a golfer.
Tom Kite.
Tom Kite was the oddest looking man ever.
He really was.
Those big ass glasses and the curly hair and the stupid visor. I mean, what a weird dude.
He looked like he was wrapped in saran wrap or something, didn't he? His face? Yeah.
Yes. It's like pushed in, like he got hit in the face with a pan.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was bizarre.
He just always defined white guy for me. Just when I thought of white guy, I thought of Tom Kite. That's just
there were some golfers back then that just did not look like athletes, and golf's not necessarily an athletic sport, but back then you had guys that really looked like they could have been your
walrus.
Your
I was just going to say,
salesman.
I mean, everyone remembers John Daly, but you got to go back a little further, and Stadler was the best. Craig Stadler, aka the Walrus.
Smoking
go Google a picture of that guy in his prime. Yeah. Him, Angel Cabrera used to pack, he would smoke a pack of Marlboros on the course. Awesome stuff.
Yeah.
So training camp has started, like I mentioned before. We got quite a bit of stuff to look for out in Giants land. So, Neighbors is back practicing. He's off PUP. A lot of people thought he'd start the year on PUP. There's a lot of information in the offseason about his injury not healing so well. Well, he's out there. He's cutting. He's playing. The Neighbors watch is on. I don't know if he'll play in the preseason necessarily, but he's out there practicing, and he looks ready to go for week 1. You added, Arvel Reese in the draft, so that you add him to Tibbs and Carter, and now you're looking at a pass rush there. And Tibbs is a guy who probably has a lot to prove. Carter, I'll talk about a little bit later when we have a couple questions, because I do want to talk about Carter and Dart. Actually, it comes up in my pet peeve. Scatabo is back and healthy enough to do backflips when he doesn't need to, and we probably have a couple camp battles here at defensive line and defensive back, 2 weak areas for us. and it'll be interesting to see how they rotate Theo Johnson and Isaiah Likely at tight end. But guys, it's good to see camp start. I don't get so caught up in the day to day reports. That will be part of my pet peeve. So I'm just here to make sure there's no one getting injured. Want to make sure that we're seeing, just growth more so when the season starts than preseason and camp, because you never really know who's doing well. And remember a couple preseasons ago, Davis Webb had like 5 incompletions the entire preseason, had like 200 yards every game. Come on.
I don't know. We get into that every year, and I'm sure we will again, but it's just a reminder for people that, man, you just can't put too much into that. I will say, just to kind of call back the end of our shout out there, it is astounding how much Craig Statler looks exactly like Mike Holmgren. I mean, those
yeah, it does.
two guys are they're interchangeable.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Craig Stadler's still alive, right?
He is, yeah.
He is. I think his son plays.
I was going to say his son is on the tour, Corn Ferry somewhere, right? I've seen his name or something.
His son was on like the long driving tour, I think, too. Like he was doing one of those. I think it's Kevin Stadler.
Yeah. I love getting headlines from training camp. Right, we're still almost barely 2 weeks away from the Giants' first game. I know the Hall of Fame game is this week, right? I think with the Panthers actually and the Cardinals. Man, that's must-see TV right there. Jesus. But I saw one headline. I love how it's already dramatic. Like, Giants offense looks sloppy today. And I'm like, what offense? Aren't they in fucking shorts? Like, what do you mean? Like, what offense? There's guys where they're wearing shorts and throwing a ball around with 7 guys on the field. So I already have to be worried about the Giant offense. They look sloppy. Yeah.
How about trying to break down the running game when they're not even in pads? People are like, oh, there's holes that are gigantic for Scatabo to run through. Well, no one's in pads. What do you got going on there?
Well, they do the the quarterback was 7 out of 7 for 7 on 7. What? Playing with 7. How freaking hard is that?
Yeah. The running game holes were opening up against the practice dummies.
Yeah.
Bags of sand.
Yeah. We'll talk about this. We have a question coming up about our podcast and what our style is. And guys, I've listened to a few podcasts out there from different teams, not just the Giants, but they're already in depth talking about training camp. And I'm like, what are you really taking from training camp? Are you really going to put stock in how Kyler Murray looks versus someone else and everything else in different camps? It's like, come on.
Especially this day and age, camp. At least 30 years ago, it used to be kind of real. You heard stories about. I remember one of the most famous ones came from Jeff Hostetler. The first time he was taking reps when he was first drafted by and it was live, and he got hit by LT live in practice, in training camp. They're not doing that kind of stuff anymore. They're doing the start. These guys don't even. They're not even on the field at training camp. Nothing goes on. There's no right. I mean, there's very little. Is there contact or? I'd love to watch one of these. It's funny. We're talking about training camp. By the way, I said before we came on, I wasn't even aware the Giants were in West Virginia till just recently, just a few days ago. I saw something and a report from West Virginia, the Giants. I'm like, what West Virginia? What
are they doing there?
What are they doing there? Who? So, Mike, you said before we came on a little rusty, a little off season. Yeah, I guess so. There you go. I'm like, they're in West Virginia. All right, okay.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Novak, what are you looking for Jets camp? Any storylines there that are popping out? I see Cade Klubnik looks amazing already.
I have a thing on Cade Klubnik later, but there's really the crazy thing is if they had any semblance of a quarterback, which Geno Smith might be okay. This offense all of a sudden has gone from one of the worst in the league to they got a lot of stars. I mean, not stars necessarily, but a lot of skill position players. When you look at Garrett Wilson and Sadiq and Cooper and A.D. Mitchell and Breece Hall and Mason Taylor. I mean, they are pretty loaded, believe it or not. They just have no one to throw them the ball unless if Geno can revert back to what he was 2-3 years ago with the Seahawks, and he could just be top 20 quarterback in the league. I'm not asking for him to be top 10. Can you be top 20? They'll be competitive. I mean, that's kind of what I'm hoping for. And they're really the only storylines are, is Aaron Glenn going to be able to coach this team, and is he going to last the year? He did say in the offseason that play calling is his superpower. So great that he said that. And then the other day in the press conference, he said he's not a butthole. So he's had a
We got
wonderful
those things
offseason
cleared
yet
up.
again. So we've
Yeah.
got those
Okay.
things going
Yeah.
for us already. So he just can't get out of his own way. So yeah, a couple defensive, battles in at cornerback, just like you guys, defensive line. But overall, it's pretty. I could pick the 53-man roster today if I needed to. So there's not really many battles going on, which I think is a positive sign.
Can I add one little nugget there, Novak? I got to give Novak credit for on our thread earlier today. He threw out there, the Jets got an interception in camp today. Does that count towards ending their streak? So as a reminder to our listeners, the New York Jets somehow, in a 17-game, mind you, was unable to secure an interception on defense last year, which is just fill in your own adjective for that. This is Mad Libs right now. The Jets are so whatever, fill it in. So that got us laughing. So Novak, I appreciate that comment. So mid-season form right there, my man.
You need to get Darren on the horn to see how many games back before that previous season they didn't have an interception on.
Oh yeah, what that streak actually is. That'd be interesting.
It's I'm on it. Darren is on it. He's handed me the sheet of paper here. And the last interception by the Jets was the last regular season game of 2025 on January 5th against the Miami Dolphins.
Okay. So
that sounds like that would have been a great game.
It was by Ashton Davis, and he actually had 2 in the game.
Wow. Don't remember.
And they were they were both intercepted off of Tyler Huntley.
A Pro Bowler Snoop Huntley, right?
Pro Bowler Snoop.
So that's going to be a storyline once the season starts. How many games are going to go until they get one? I mean, and the mocking cheer they're going to get if they do it in Met Death.
Unless they get it on the first pass of the first game, then that place will go wild.
You know what I hope, Novak? I hope. I mean, I don't really hope this for you, but I can see. I would love to see like. As the DB's running it back, there's a flag. You see the little yellow flag box, and there's going to be some phantom roughing the passer or something. It's not going to count.
Oh my God!
I wonder.
As the guy's running back, you can just see like that little yellow flag box comes up. That all gives us just a stroke when we see it. Right? It's going to pop up on the return. It's going to pop up.
To Mike's point, that would have been interesting to know. Did they get an interception last year and it was wiped off because of penalty, or did they not have any at all?
No, they did not do that. I can answer that question for you.
Yeah, I think for me, what I'm really excited for the Giants is seeing the Harbaugh offense in effect, where I think we're going to see a lot of 2 tight ends set with Likely and Theo Johnson, as well as a power running game with Scatterbo, Tracy, and everyone's talking about Patrick Ricard. I am pumped for this.
Yeah, they got to be. It's just seeing Harbaugh on the sidelines. I know it sounds, little. I just seen they're going to look so much different from the last couple of years. I think Dart his second year, obviously, just a different. Now Harbaugh has to work on his locker room speeches, evidently, right? So I'm sure we've all seen clips of that, and it was sort of like it was like an insurance, like Del Griffith had an insurance seminar or something like that. But Scott, I think it's the health, right, of Neighbors and Scatterbo and those guys. But the offense is going to be much improved, and then defensively, that front four, I'm already a little tired of hearing about how good they are before they actually even get to week 1, but. That front four, if they can play as advertised and as the talent that we think they have, we know about some of the guys. I mean, we filled in a couple more, in the draft and such with Reese and such. But man, it's I'm just looking forward to real football, and the Giants are they did a lot to improve their roster, of course, and I know we'll get into predictions and things like that, but it's going to look a lot different, obviously.
Well, you guys lost 4 games last year from coaching alone, right?
Yeah.
Denver, Dallas, Chicago, and New
Yep.
Orleans, I think, are the 4 that jump to mind for me that I remember that you can absolutely pinpoint coaching as the reason you lost. And, can you win 2 more with neighbors and a couple? Giants should be a 9-10 win team. I'm sorry, they should be. Should be. I don't know if they will, but they should be.
Yeah. Don't forget that game against the Lions too, where the
Oh,
Giants
that's
had them
another one.
beat.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, it was it was a frustrating year last year in that regard, and that is going to be one of my pet peeves too, is talking about the perception of some of the players on the team just because of the one loss record that we had. So we'll talk about that. Guys, looking around the league, what's intriguing to me is there are a lot of players that switch teams that I had not even noticed yet.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get ready for fantasy football, and I did one of those like best ball drafts or whatever I had free on DraftKings, and I picked in an early round I picked the Steelers running back Warren, and then a few rounds later I see Michael Pittman out there. I pick him too, not realizing Michael Pittman is now a Steeler. So there's a lot of swapping going out. You got, Debo Samuel signed with the 49ers. He was a free agent, but Tyreek Hill is still out there. There's guys out there that I think are going to be, on a roster week one. And I'll tell you a guy who might not be on a roster week one, and he's a Giant, is Odell. You got guys out there who just the arc of their career is ending. So to me, what's interesting around the league right now is not only seeing the player movement, but the quarterback battles that are going on. Like I want to see who comes out on top in Cleveland. I want to see what happens in Atlanta. I want to see what happens in all these different places where you have, guys that are competing for the job. Minnesota, I guess. Is it Kyler Murray or JJ?
Yeah.
And
Who's? Oh, go ahead, Novak.
no, I'm gonna say, and it's kind of going along with that. There's a lot of movement, but there's a lot of teams that, like, 2, 3 years ago, you thought they were on the uptick, right? That you saw them ascending, and they didn't do a whole lot this offseason. You look at Tampa and Detroit, and who's the other one I was thinking of? But there was one other that I'm like, no, I guess it was those 2 that came to mind. But there's a bunch of those, and I don't know how that happens, and you decide what you're just gonna not go for it. I mean, look what the Rams did. I mean, Myles Garrett is gonna just destroy. I mean, that team is who's beating them?
And if
Mm.
Aaron Donald comes out of retirement, which
Oh, good God.
seems like
And they
a
probably
huge
will.
possibility. Yeah. You brought up the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are one of those teams to me, and there's already, grumblings from Baker Mayfield in the offseason. I think that team, they have the division at their disposal if they want it, and they're not going to take it. I think that team
No.
I think they're going to go down in flames this year.
I think Todd Bowles is the first coach fired. Personally, now I could be wrong, but I could see him. He's on the biggest hot seat other than Aaron Glenn, but I think Todd Bowles is a bigger hot seat.
Huh?
Yeah, that's a that's a good prediction.
It'll be interesting what happens, as we start to progress, and as we get in the first preseason game and some of these quarterback battles, of course, in a preseason game, let's say Kyler Murray does better than JJ in the first series, you're going to hear Viking fans go nuts and everything else. And that's what I love about the preseason, the overreactions and how that translates to the regular season. If you guys could see Novak's background from the video part, we have a live show this year. It's going to be September 2nd. It's a Wednesday. We're going to be at the Carolina Beer Temple in Matthews, North Carolina. It's our 3rd year in a row of doing the live show. And this year we're actually, there's a band after us playing, Donkey. So we got live music coming up. We got jokes and football talk before then. It's going to be a fun time. And just in the pod in general this year, we're going to move, I think, to a live streaming format. So we're going to change it up a bit. We're going to have more guests on this year. We're going to be more interactive. So this may be the last show we do on the current format, but we'll see. We got some technology upgrades coming on if the funding comes in and Darren can get us set up. So we'll see what happens. But I'm looking forward to it. This may be elevating our game. We instead of being the 3-13, 3-14 teams we've been, maybe we go into the middle of the pack of 8-8. 8 and 9, 9 and 8.
Can't do the
Can't
17
be.
math. I can't do it. Impossible.
It doesn't sound right when you say 3 and 14.
No, I was
No, it
I was
doesn't.
looking up Joe Judge earlier. Don't ask me why.
Wow.
But it said he went 6-10 in his first season, and I was like, is that sounds right to me? Like, why is like 6-10? That's what something a football team can do, right? 6-10, not 6-11. That's not right. It still hasn't made its way to my brain.
Just put the 18th game out there, NFL
seriously.
already. We know what's
Just do it.
coming.
Yes, just do it. And,
You know,
don't have a stupid random team from the NFC that the Jets have to play. Just put another AFC team in there. Why do I got to play
Yeah.
another team from the NFC? It's so stupid.
You're going to go to that 18-game schedule and then move to a 2-game preseason. And think about that. You're going to have camp. Is camp going to have to start the same time? Is it going to be pushed back, or the regular season going to be moved up? I don't know how this will work logistically. Are we going to have Super Bowl in end of February?
Well, no, Super Bowl needs to fall on President's Weekend, so that we need to finally just cement that in on the calendar, right?
Yeah.
So whatever it's the third month. President's Day is the third Monday in February. Let's move it back to 1 week and let's be done with it. So keep it where it is, or maybe they'd have to I don't know, because they're planning on eliminating, I think, a preseason week. Isn't that also part of the front end? So just move it back, move it later a week. The hell with it, and just eliminate one of the preseason games. Move the whole damn schedule back so it falls on President's Day weekend. Why can't we just do that? Yeah. There's nothing else going on. Like March Madness isn't going yet. There's nothing going on. Just do it.
Especially if they're going to add the 18th game. If you're going to do something stupid like that, give us something back. And that would be fixing a long time wrong. That Super Bowl we need to have a day off after the Super Bowl. It's been such a long time coming. And they do everything else to expand the schedule or in the other direction or everything. Just give us this one thing. We'll overlook the 18-game season where essentially there's going to be teams who take 6 weeks off at the end of the year.
Right.
But whatever, that's what you want. If you want to turn this into, what do they call it? Like for LeBron, when he takes his couple games off every now and then. Why not that? That's fun. Nothing like that week 16 game when you're leading your division by 6 games. No one's going to get hurt. That's going to be fine. There's no.
But I guess, yeah. But Novak, you were just mentioning about the the schedule not playing the interconference. I guess. How would they do that though? Because you're already playing the other, let's say like last place finisher in your conference, and then so you're playing you're playing a full division in your conference, full division interconference. Those other 2 games are with. So where would that other game come from? Would have to come from AFC, I guess.
So
or,
I would
interconference, or what would you think? What are you thinking?
So here's how I would do it. I don't know if this is the right way to do it or not. So let's say the Jets are in the AFC East are playing the AFC Central. Those are the 4 teams that you're playing those, right?
Yep.
I would let's say the Jets come in last place, which they will. You take the last place team from the AFC West and the last place team from the AFC, whatever the remaining division is.
Or
South, thank you.
Yeah.
And you play those 2 teams, and those are the 2 additional games. You come in second, you get the second
But
place
they already
team.
do that. Right, we already do that though.
I guess you're right.
So that's where, and then so that right, we're already doing that. I was looking at it too. I'm like, well, what they would have to? Okay, no, we're already doing that. So it's kind of tricky. It would have to be one other maybe last place team in the other other conference
NFC.
Maybe. Yeah,
I guess.
For you guys.
Why couldn't you start doing like Major League Baseball does, and you have your rivalry games? We play the Giants every year.
That's not a bad idea.
I was actually going to bring that up about the rivalry games. That's good, but it gives some teams an unfair advantage.
Correct.
Because think about who think about who the rivalry team is. You might draw a terrible rivalry team. I mean, Giants Jets, I don't mind, but say they decide to make it the Giants Bills. I mean, for right now, the Giants are getting screwed in that matchup.
That's true. That is true. It would just be more fun that way because we would play each other every year. But
yeah, well, it would pretty much work out kind of like the opposite it does now, right? So right now we play the same place teams from one division in the other conference, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
we just
Yeah.
make that 2, and then the rotation
guess you'd have to
becomes
do
the
it that
one
way,
that's
yeah.
off. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that would suck is that if that extra game, like I was playing the last place team in the West, so I got to go out west an additional game or something like
Mhm.
that. So I don't know. That's tough. But I guess do we really care? I mean,
Well,
just if we're gonna get to 18 games, just give
I
me
know.
another team. Make it easy. Make it equitable that I'm not playing a top team if I'm in last place or something like that. I guess there's a way to do it.
I kind of drilled down though on what Mike was saying earlier. I mean, you think about this. I mean, last year, we'll just take last year for an example because half the teams were really bad, and the top part of the
Yeah.
teams were pretty good, and there was a pretty clear delineation there. I think the playoff teams were decided earlier than they've ever have been.
Mm.
And if you look at the Giants 6 week, I guess it would be week 16 game or week 17 game, whatever you want to call it, when they played the Raiders, that was their next to last game. And that game was meaningless for both teams. And now, how many more weeks ahead of that do you start getting meaningless games if we go to an 18 game schedule? It might be week 14. You got guys, shutting it down.
Or they may get rid of even the number 1 seed bye. I could see that happening, and they just go to freaking 8 playoff seeds. 8 plays 1. There's no bye because right now you have 7, and only the number 1 seed gets the bye. They may just get rid of that. I mean, that 8-1 matchup, is going to suck, but it is revenue. It's TV revenue. It's all that bullshit. They may just get rid of that, Scott, and they would say, so to your point, I mean, maybe, so that way with that another wild card, it gets watered down even more, as far as playoff teams, but to maybe, solve that problem of even more teams' seasons being over earlier, at least there's another wild card spot there up for grabs.
Yeah, I would like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I've
Better
never
chance to get
never
the
been a
playoffs.
fan of the bye for anybody.
Yeah.
I
The
feel
playoffs are supposed to be a marathon, right? They're supposed to be a who survives. And if you get so more so than giving one team like earning a week off, I get that. But then they've only won 2 games to get to the Super Bowl. You're like, really? Is that enough of a grinder to prove you're the champion? Probably not.
Well, I do like the idea of a bye. Like I think Chris Kuhn sent this in his suggestion. The middle of the season, everyone's off for 1 week.
I think that's the right way to do it because that way no one has an advantage. There's just 1 week in the season. No one's there. Have a skills competition or whatever you're going to do for like the Pro Bowl then.
Stupid.
And maybe they have some agreement with college football or something that's rivalry week. Maybe they have a crazy slate of college games. Or why don't they do this? Have some college games, maybe even on Sunday.
There you go.
Do college games the whole weekend, Saturday and Sunday. I just thought of that. It wasn't even on my head. It was just sort of like maybe they fill in that if there's an open Sunday, or because no one's gonna. The guys are gonna want off, Scott. Like they're gonna just want a week off. You know what I mean? As far as the players and stuff.
But you're sitting there from week 4 to week 13 or whatever it is now. There's always teams off, and it's a random number of teams, and you're like, well, why not just have everyone off at the same time? It's fair.
Even buys they fucked up because back in the day when they first started them, the whole NFC East would be off, and then it was the AFC East, and it was like you said, it was an equal number. It was all 4 teams in the division, so everyone, and now, like you said, you don't like it's. The Giants are they're like them, the Raiders, the Buccaneers, Falcons, and the Chiefs, and the Titans, and then the following week there's none, and then the following week there's only 2, and then there's 4, and then it's like, come on.
Yeah, they're overcomplicating it.
Yeah.
See, we should be commissioners.
AWS, the perfect schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
About the time those 2 things will line up, once we got the perfect schedule, that's when the buys started sucking, along with everything else.
Pretty much.
One thing you eliminated is all that bullshit about like who's playing who off after a bye and all that. Well, we're all on a damn bye, so everyone's playing everyone that was off. So yeah.
The only people that will be pissed off at that are those waiting for the AFC South matchup that week.
Yeah. Maybe we can just include a couple AFC South games during the bye.
Didn't we already look? Didn't we already look week 1? There has to be one week 1, I think, right? I'm looking right now, guys.
All right, I got the schedule in front of me right now.
We know it's not the Titans because they got the Jets.
The big Jaguars Colts game week 1?
I thought
Week
nope,
one,
Jags
no,
play the Browns.
Jags play the Browns.
Wait, I don't think there is.
Oh no!
Tennessee plays the Jets.
Unless the Texans play the Colts.
No,
then there's
Texas
not.
play
Nope.
Buffalo. Damn.
Yep.
They're on to us.
Yeah.
Wow, that's disheartening. Yeah.
Disheartening.
It doesn't happen week 2 either. They're really trying to screw us. Yeah.
Oh, they're going to be all bunched up in the middle of the season.
Oh yeah, they're gonna really.
Houston and Indianapolis, week 3.
There you go.
Yeah, then they start rolling. Yeah.
And then there'll be one a week through Christmas.
Easily.
You guys got
Somehow.
anything else from training camp around the league? Any of that nonsense?
No, I had not too much to add there. I think you guys talked about it on the pod I was off. I really do shut down the football stuff until about this time is when I start firing it back up, especially with the Knicks winning, as you guys talked about. I didn't offer much to that part of our conversation because I have, like Scott was talking about, the players who change teams. I don't know 0% of that. Like I won't know that until I start looking at the fantasy football rankings and I get my copy of Madden.
Well, Mike, listen, again, I remain retired from fantasy. So when you don't play fantasy, you don't know where anybody is.
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah, I had to brush up on a lot of stuff in the off season because I was on a podcast about the draft, and then Novak and I were on that podcast with the Berg.
Oh my gosh, those guys!
Cave.
Holy crap!
Yeah,
they know their stuff. I mean, they were in mid-season form in April. It was like, what in the hell?
Yeah.
Now, I will say this: we represented well.
We did.
And we had a fun time doing it. But it's one of those things where you're all of a sudden like you are going through. I'm doing a couple hours of research, like making sure I got shit that so I don't go on there looking like a babbling fool of the New York Giants. It's like.
You guys certainly brought your A game. Cardone and I are out here dropping passes, pulling a hammy. Like, no, I got to stretch that out a little bit.
I say, I don't know if these are guys I want to hang out with. Quite frankly, I need more well-roundedness. I need more stuff. I need some other. These guys they're in that mid-season form. I'm not sure I want to hang out with these guys.
Easy, Evan Ingram.
No, but the only thing I'll say is about as far as the off season, I mean, no one had a better off season than Jackson Dart. I just have to put that out there. This friggin' guy is everywhere. He's in golf matches, the Kentucky Derby, the president. He's throwing passes to someone on a jet ski, like 100, 200 yards. This friggin' guy is everywhere.
We went through this shit with Beckham, and then now we have the tandem of Dart and Scatabo to a certain extent where guys just tone it down, man. Tone it down. Dart if he wants to be the face of this franchise, he's got to know that all of these things are being scrutinized. And maybe he doesn't care. Maybe I shouldn't care.
It might not need to. I mean, maybe it's going to be fine. But I think I said this in one of the other previous pods. You do put a little bit of a target on your back. There's guys that have been around this league for 5, 6, 7 years who are not getting the pub that he's getting, and he won what did he win? 2 games?
Yeah.
As a starter? 2, 3?
I think he had 3.
Maybe 3.
I think he had 3.
Yeah, I mean it's a good point, and it's it's everything Parcells used to talk about, and who knows? To your guys' point, I mean, who knows if this is the world's just changed. And this is where we now have to accept it, or if this is going to bite them really hard eventually. But it's again, we're all spoiled by Eli Manning here. At least the Giants fans are. And this was he was the consummate professional. Never gave billboard material. Never wore a target on his back. And maybe the world's just changing around us. But
the craziest thing about Eli is he was like that in a public way. But in the locker room, like he was the guy putting icy hot in your jack,
Yeah, he was yeah.
Oh, I don't disagree, Mike, but I mean, he had a target on the back, but he didn't put it there.
No, he didn't. There's nothing he did.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nothing he did made it go there, right?
Well,
so it's interesting. Go ahead, Scott.
No, my quarterback, is a choir boy for 7 years, comes back to the Jets. He's getting 2 speeding tickets. He's got his baby mama screaming on social media about him. And what do you put on Jet Green and all of a sudden you got to revert back to what you were 15 years ago? Like what is going on?
He was on the other side of the locker room. It was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. He didn't do anything. He was like you didn't even know he was
Yeah.
there.
No.
No, the only time I knew he was there was when he was relieving Eli.
Yeah. Unceremoniously stepping in for Eli. That was his big moment.
Yeah, I Novak, I think that's one of the storylines that will go away if the Giants win, and it will keep popping up if the Giants lose or if Dart
100%.
struggles.
Yeah.
You know.
Totally agree. Same with Scatterboo. Same thing.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. If they're good, no one will care. No one will say one word about the offseason.
Yep.
But if he has a sophomore slump, he's going to be getting it in New York.
Yep.
I mean, that's not going to sit well.
Every bit of it will come back. Every bit of it will be weaponized against him. And, I like it. I like the energy that they're bringing to what's been pretty dull around here. But I don't want to be known as the NFL's frat house. I don't want to be, I won't want to take it that far. But, just get to business, get winning, get serious, and let's go here.
I don't see John Harbaugh on the steps going, Toga, Toga. So let's move to pet peeves, and I'm gonna start with I'm gonna put him on the spot since he wasn't here for a couple of the episodes.
Oh, no.
Put Mikey on the spot.
Yeah, I got one here. Speaking of the Knicks, it's not about the Knicks, but I just something that's been on my mind all off season, football off season anyway, is the I guess it's in my opinion the unearned love of Victor Wembanyama. And I don't even know if I just said his name right. I don't care. I honestly don't care. This guy, I mean, I could talk about this forever, but this guy, I had never seen him play. I've seen snippets of him and highlights here and there, but I'd never really seen him play until the last two series of the playoffs. I wasn't impressed, guys. I didn't see grace. I didn't see, where all the slam dunks and people just wanting to do a documentary about everyone. The guy's armpit starts 6 inches below the rim. I mean, big deal. He's tall. And I think that's all he got. I don't see him any less, gangly and awkward out there than Kiki Vanderway or anybody else who's played. He looks like a tall, gangly guy with not much muscle on his bones who the Knicks were able to effectively push around and absolutely dominate out of a series. But it's not just that, right? Because that part of it is not really his fault per se. It's just who he is, and he's being elevated by others. But the things about him are there as well, and the things that turn him overnight into the face of the league, into the biggest villain in the league. The guy's a whiner. He's a baby. He's intentionally, obviously, trying to hurt Knicks players out there, and that went back into the Oklahoma City series as well. It's like he's visibly stomping at people's ankles. He's easily frustrated. He made giant head mistakes in key moments of games. Not just the one everyone thinks of where he threw the ball off his teammate's back, but the turnovers. I didn't see it. I didn't see it all series. He's a guy I was terrified going into the series about. By game 3 or game 4, I just said this guy, and I think Cardone, we even mentioned it sitting there at your house talking about it in game 1. Why are we afraid of this guy again? But he scored 6 points in game 1 or something. I mean, this has got to be deserved, and this is the kind of thing that happens now. And I don't really think, again, it's not necessarily always the athlete's fault, but Wemby is just doubling down on it. After they lost in 5 games unceremoniously, he comes out and saying we dominated the series. There's no way to lose a series in 5 games that you dominate. It's physically impossible. And people point to game 4, and why is the beginning of game 4 automatically who those teams are? Why is the first half of game 4 automatically the source of truth for who the teams are? Because if you get up by 29 and then you lose by 2, that means you got outscored by 31 in the second half of a basketball game. It doesn't mean you gave up a 29-point lead. And they're like, oh, they led all but 6 seconds of that game or whatever. Yeah. Well, big deal. That the whole second half of the game that they led during, they were being dominated. It just so happened that the score was lopsided. So don't give me that shit. I mean, I saw immediately after the series a bunch of stats about for how many minutes the Spurs led and how that indicated some sort of domination. It didn't, because in the, like I said, in the games where they had big leads, from the moment they had their biggest lead for the rest of the game, the Knicks dominated those games. Period.
Yep.
And for some reason we're choosing to say, well, the first half is the source of truth. That's who the teams really are. The second half are flukes. And I think that's a bunch of bullshit. A lot of people said if that were a 10-game series, the Spurs wouldn't have lost another game. And if it was blah, 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 this, if. And no, I think if it were a 10-game series, the Knicks would have won 8-2. That team we were so in their heads. No lead was ever safe. I don't see it. I don't see Wembanyama. It's too late. He's already the face of the league. He's already on covers. But if he keeps playing like that, it's going to be a not for long thing with him, because the media and the vision they give people can only last so far. And the dude I had to look this up. I didn't know this. He has never won anything on any level.
Yeah. No.
He didn't win in high school. He didn't win in college. He didn't win in the French leagues. The team he was on won a title. He was injured for those playoffs. He's never won anything on any level. I don't think he's a winner. He certainly showed us he's not a closer. And I just think this guy goes away. I think he's going to be a footnote in NBA history, and maybe he turns it on from here and matches up with his current status. But I don't see it. I just don't see it.
Well, I don't understand why. Why does the NBA want him to be the face of the NBA? He's a bore. Like,
yeah.
You want to put Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, like, say what you want about LeBron. He's, I can't take him, but he's
clearly awesome.
He's a great player to watch if you could just take his personality out of the mix. Like, those are the kind of guys that you want to be the face of the league. He is a bore. Like, it's not exciting to watch. He doesn't have, he has some skill, I guess. I guess it's unique because he's like 7'10" or whatever he is. But like, I just don't understand why him.
Well, and I don't think there's been a person that's done themselves as much of a disservice as him in one playoff series. If you think about it, he was on the trajectory of being like a Stephon Curry. And all of a sudden now he's like a bad guy. And he's only a bad guy because he's doing bad guy shit, like throwing people down the floor in headlocks, stepping on their ankles, whining every time, flopping. If he had just gone about his business as normal, people would be like, Wemby, he's a good player. He didn't win, but he'll be back. But now people are like, this guy's a fucking idiot. Like the way he ended that one press conference by like, see you never. And just some of the stuff he did, like it's almost like he intentionally wants to be a villain.
It's a good point.
He could be Tim Duncan. He could have been Tim Duncan.
Maybe, I mean, I'll just chalk it up. He's a young guy, right? He's only 22, 23, something like that. So, okay, he's got a lot of maturing to do in that regard. He literally is like a young kid almost, compared to, some of these veterans in this league. But what that showed me in two sides, right? Wimpy, as I saw, his name written a couple times, which I now call him. So Wimpy is a great nickname for this chop.
Yeah, it is.
What it comes down to, guys, and then you get to go to the other side with Brunson, right? The leader for the Knicks, and really the Knicks as a team, the way they played. And I hate to always bring it up because it's always like Cardone, stop with Eli Manning all the time, but it's similar in a way where like we always talk about the guys that get it done in crunch time. And when the pressure's on, when the game's on the line, who's that guy? All right. And why is it, like you said, Mike, I don't care what, you don't want to fall behind by 29. You don't want to fall behind in any game, but like when the game's on the line, who elevates their game? That's the stuff that you can't measure on a fucking stat sheet. We know that. Anybody, we watch every sport. We watch we know the names of the guys that that are the clutch players. We always like look for that as far as fans, analysts, whatever. And then it's like, okay, why, like in this, it just seems like it's always whenever my team wins a championship, it's always like because the other team, it's never like we didn't win it. You know what I mean? Jalen Brunson somehow has to still justify like his greatness, if you will.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, well, the guy is tough as fucking nails. He's been doing it since, you guys know I'm a Villanova basketball fan. Like, I saw this already at college. People may not have known Brunson's winning DNA at the college. Now, on the flip side, guys, here's a guy who won at every level in his life so far. There's winners and there's just losers. And this Wimpy right now, he's got many years to come, but what I want to see, guys, now, the great thing about that series, and not only the Knicks winning a championship, but I love the fact that now I have this guy to hate and root against. I want him to never sniff a championship in this league. I hope that's something that I'm going to be looking for. The Knicks aren't going to win it every year. We know that. But then it's one of those things where, like, and I don't care about the San Antonio Spurs, right? But to your point, Mike, I didn't know who this guy really was. I don't watch the NBA that much. I certainly don't watch the Western Conference. So when I saw this guy in the playoffs, I'm like, this guy's a punk. Who is he? Yeah. So it comes down. And when here's the thing, guys, when the Spurs, because they're going to be good, they're going to be right back in the playoffs and all those things, and they're going to be in position to win series and this and that, and they may get to the finals and all that. Now it's like, well, what's the pressure going to be like in a close game? And is he going to be able to deliver? That's the difference. He may not. He may not be able to. There's guys. Look at like a Lamar Jackson. I'll just throw out a random name, right? Lamar Jackson, everything, the MVPs, regular season, all the stuff he's done. Doesn't he look a little different in the playoffs when it's he doesn't look too comfortable out there. He doesn't look too sure of himself. He doesn't look too confident. He looks rattled. Wemby looked rattled. And now I'd love to see what's going to happen in the years to come when you have the difference. Knicks are going to be a confident team. I don't care what the Sixers did. I don't care what anybody did in the Eastern Conference. Knicks are going to be, we're the champions. You got to beat us. So we're going off on a tangent here with the Knicks and basketball. No, that's what happens sometimes.
I think you touched on a couple of great points there, Cardone, that I didn't bring up, and one of them was exactly what you said about Brunson, and I think that's why the Wemby stuff was so obvious during the finals, because you had a guy on the other end of the floor who was the exact juxtaposition of Wemby. He's a guy. Wemby's been told nothing but you're going to be a star, probably since he was 14 years old. Everyone's doubted Brunson. No one's told him he's going to be a star. Everyone said you're too short. Wemby, born 7'11", whatever, however tall he is. So to see Brunson at the other end of the
growing.
So every time we talk about him,
9'6", this guy.
But to have Brunson on the other end of the floor and just, not only not fading at the end of these games, but absolutely taking them over while Wemby's out there rumbling, bumbling, stumbling all over the place. It was so obvious.
And it just shows that's what makes it's not easy to win championships. It's not. No. So that's why and I'm going to take this over to especially the quarterback position, right? Because it's the most important position in sports. Winning Super Bowls is not easy. So take Sam Darnold last year. I don't. Up to that point, his career has been unspectacular. All those things. Say what you want about Darnold. The guy, when you get it done, you have that. You're a winner. I don't care. People want, the defense won it or this won it. No. Guy won a fucking championship. That's it. He's now in that club, and now the guy. That means he's capable of winning a championship. He did it. That's what you want to see. Jackson Dart, as a Giant fan. I don't know yet what he has at this level. I just want to be able to know if this guy in the crunch time and when the game's on the line, is he going to crumble under the pressure or is he going to rise above the pressure and win games and win games maybe the Giants shouldn't win. Maybe it starts this year. Who knows? But that's the difference in professional athletes in college. The guy, when the game's on the line, does he crack or does he absolutely have ice in his veins? And that's the stuff you cannot see on the stat sheet. You can't see in a combine. You can't see it.
Yep. Well, and Cardone, I think I replayed the helmet catch thousands of times. I just was on loop, watching that. And then if you look back at the OG tip-in, that's a play. I know all of us have talked about this. So all of us have watched that ad nauseum. Yeah. But it's one of those plays where you're just watching it and you're like, this is what led the Knicks to destiny or whatever you want to call it. And you're watching it and you're like, that's a hell of a play. That's a hell of a play. That's a hell of a play. Wemby didn't make a single play like that in those playoffs.
No.
He had a very nondescript playoffs. About the only thing he was known for was drawing a bullshit technical and whining and pushing people around. That's about it, and fucking up at the end.
And then Wemby said recently, somebody asked him a question about the OG play. He said, "I don't know. I didn't see the ball go in." But if you sit there and watch the clip, Wemby is like 4 feet behind OG, staring at the rim with his mouth open, like he's saying, "Please don't go in."
Yeah.
And so the guy's full of crap. You know, I'll put a bow on it with, here's what bothers me the most. The media treats every success as proof of his greatness, and every failure is just another precious learning moment for the young Wemby. And so
that's very true.
He gets the praise of a champion, the protection of a superstar, and the patience of a developing prospect, all at the same time. Like, who gets that treatment? Nah.
No one. I don't know.
No.
And when he does win, he's the alien. When he loses, it's like, well, he's only 22. Like
the alien. The alien. Yeah.
Stop it with that.
And you know what? He better cash in now, because guys that are that tall, outside of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, traditionally don't last that long.
It's true.
I agree with you. I think if I'm him,
do you mean in the NBA or on this earth? Like, what are you talking about?
Well, maybe. Well, Kareem's still around, but Wilt's gone. There's a lot of them. Yao Ming. There's some of them are gone. Manute Bol.
I think the media will be a little tougher on him now after that series. I think the media is gonna
Manute
pick
Bol
it up.
did die, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
And so did Dikembe
Sadly.
Mutombo.
Yeah.
I mean, there's quite a few out there. Novak, pet peeve?
Yeah, I got a couple. One isn't really a pet peeve, but one, it's someone that has been the ire of my pet peeve multiple times, that I have to take this opportunity to bring it up, because part of me is a little sad that he's going to be gone, but part of me is like, F you a-hole, Ryan Clark. I am so glad that this guy got knocked out of ESPN. He doesn't have a job, and he went and played that podcast he did afterwards, where he was like crying and saying he just wanted to be. This guy is such a phony, and I am so glad that he is finally kicked to the curb. And guess what, Ryan Clark, if you're watching, we can help you on how to do a podcast, because that's all you got left. You're not even on a network, so have fun trying to get advertisers, because it's a great living for you.
We could have him on. He's former Giant Ryan Clark.
I wouldn't have Ryan Clark on for anything. I can't
figured
stand this guy.
I knew his name was I have Ryan Clark written down on my notepad here, so I was waiting to get to this clown, but so I figured one of us was going to get to him sooner or later. So thanks, Novak. Yep.
But
he's a clown and not a chop.
Gone. Yeah.
He's all of it.
Yeah.
can be
so
both.
I had to at least mention it, because I was so thrilled when he got fired, and the aftermath was just disgusting. It was vomitous, all the crap that he was saying. Like, get over yourself. He called himself the best analyst in the world. Says who? Your two best friends?
How predictable was everything he said from the moment he got fired?
Yeah. Come on.
I mean, if you had heard he got fired and wrote down 10 things that he's going to say, he checked every box. It was so predictable.
Yeah. Do you
guys have any quotes from what Carl Ravage said when he was fired?
No, because he's a decent human being.
Exactly.
No, nothing.
And Carl Ravage to me he's like the voice of baseball for me sometimes.
No doubt.
It's like
33 years. Yeah. No, but with the one thing right, which I love, Schrager, by the way, was awesome in that one clip that went viral. We know that was like last year, whatever like that, but that was one of many that kind of led to Clark's demise. And my take was sort of like, oh, that's the non-player. Well, like, okay, Mr. Clark. Well, you being as a former player, what's your credentials of being an analyst in studio? Like, I'm not on a football field telling you how to tackle a guy. Like, where's your communications degree? Where's your journalism degree? What's your resume to show that you can do this job? You're in my space and environment now, dude. We're sitting at an analyst desk at ESPN. That's the non-analyst in you, Clark. That's what, like every time he went off on some stupid tirade, oh, that's the non-analyst. What do you know? That's what you throw back in the guy's face. What are you doing on the set? You're a football player. You're not an analyst.
Great talking point. there. That's awesome.
Show me your communications degree.
Yep.
I got one from Ramapo College.
Well, I mean, we can leave it there. My other one's not that big. The only thing I'll say that has annoyed me today is that the Jets took a day off because yesterday they went full throttle. What happened to the
day
days
off already?
Already, and they have off on Monday. So like, and Aaron Glenn said, well, analytics are telling us that recovery days are more important now. What happened to the days when you had 2 days and these guys were getting their asses handed to them? And I know someone's probably watching this going, well, you're just an old 55-year-old man. What do you know about football? I don't. I didn't play the game, but I can sit here and say that that used to be different back in the day. And it's what a bunch of the pussification, right, Cardone? I mean,
the pussification is running wild, running rampant. There's no stop to it. It's gaining momentum. Listen, Novak, should we be surprised? This is the day and age where pitchers are getting pulled with no hitters going. No hitters in the 7th, 8th inning, and these guys are getting yanked because they've threw 97 pitches or something. So we're not. How can we be surprised that there's days off already in the first week of training camp?
Did the Jets have at the bottom of their training camp announcement the phrase "all gas, no break"?
That was Saleh.
Oh, was that Saleh?
The Jets, at least Glenn did not have a phrase this year, because I'll just say this one time. So one year, the year that Rodgers tore his Achilles, their phrase for that camp was "now what?" And so I remember them walking off at halftime, and right there it said "now what?" And I'm like, could that be any more perfect?
It's like someone saw that coming.
Yeah.
I actually that's one of the pet peeves I have, not for tonight, but I hate that phrase "all gas, no break." It really is one of those. It's like you have to have a break. You can't go full throttle.
Doesn't that mean you just crash into a tree and
Man, that must have been Tony Romo's motto when he was driving the other day?
Yeah. Tiger Woods, maybe.
You went better than me. I was going to go Pelly Lindbergh. So
Pelly Lindbergh. Wasn't expecting to hear his name tonight's pod.
Right?
You guys went much better than I did. Although Tiger Woods is a very good one.
Yeah. Good stuff.
So is that your second one?
That was it. Yep, I'm good.
All right.
So I'll go next. I have a couple as well. And the first is, you guys know I'm the resident guy that has been following soccer. So I was following the World Cup. Novak, I know, had troubles following the World Cup, but guys, the flopping in the World Cup, this happens every 4 years. And the things that happen in the flopping in the World Cup are outrageous. I mean, there's guys that are hitting the shoulder and they start grabbing their face and they roll around on the ground and they're down for like 5 minutes. And the ref has to call a stoppage to play because it could be a head injury and everything else. And there's never any ramifications for the guy that fakes it. And there was one particular play that did stand out. It was Argentina versus Switzerland. And a guy for Switzerland was on a yellow card. And he got tripped by an Argentinian who was shown a yellow card. And they went to the replay system and they said, well, you were never touched. So they ended up reversing the yellow card on the Argentinian, which meant by rule they had to give the Swiss guy a yellow card, which was a second yellow, and it was a red, which he was disqualified. And I just kept thinking to myself, this is what's happening, because people were talking about how unjust this was. And this is what's happening now in the rest of sports. We saw it in the basketball playoffs with OKC. We see it in football week after week with wide receivers. And this flopping that happens, to me, it's cheating. It's going above and beyond the rules because you are intentionally trying to influence the referee's decision in your favor. And that's the part that I don't get, is that it's not gamesmanship. It is an intentional try to gain a penalty, gain an advantage. And there has to be an equilibrium there where you balance this out. And I don't see that very often. It happened in soccer, and as soon as that guy got the red card, everyone's like, oh, that's really harsh. You had to kick a guy out for that. Yeah, but he fell with no one even touching him, grabbing his leg for 10 minutes in pain. And when they went to the video, they saw that no one even touched him. So what
Yeah.
are you grabbing in pain? When a basketball player falls down to the ground, writhing, that's bullshit. And hockey's the one that gets away with it because hockey, you don't see people faking it. If you're down on the
Until
ice
they
in
get hurt.
hockey, they have to bring a stretcher out to get you out of there, or they're picking up teeth. And with football in general, if you're like a lineman and you go down, you're down and you don't get up and just start walking it off and limping. You leave the field for a period of time. I just don't get the I don't get the I don't want to call it the culture, but the culture of flopping.
Yeah.
Punish the floppers, and you'll get rid of this right away.
Almost
gotta be
every
cleaned
sport
up.
already has a rule in there they could easily use. Like if the NFL flopping gets too bad, start calling receivers for delay a game.
Exactly.
It's over.
Yeah.
It's call like 5 receivers for it. They'll stop. You should do that in soccer as well. Soccer has a benefit if they entrust a lot into their video replay system. If you can tell someone's out there flopping and there was no contact made with them at all, delay game or additional yellow card or whatever they do in soccer. I don't know how the rules work, but most sports have a penalty on the books that would handle it just fine.
Like you said, Scott, I love when they show the replay in slow motion and the guy's holding a part of his body or his leg that didn't even come in contact with the guy. The contact will be up around the knee, let's say, and the guy's like writhing around holding his ankle. I mean, that part you weren't even hit there, dude. Knock it off.
Anytime you're down on the ground for more than 30 seconds and you can get back up and run like there's nothing happens, that's bullshit.
That's complete
The only
bullshit.
thing I got to say about soccer is, we'll see in 4 years.
Yeah.
So true.
Talk about it again.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
It was nice while it lasted for a month. Go away and be irrelevant again.
Please. Not fast enough. Yeah, the NHL polices itself because you pull that shit in the NHL, there's going to be a goal scored behind you. So you better get your ass up and get back on defense.
And even the NHL, like you get a high stick, the guy's looking for blood, but if they can't find blood, that's it. That's about all they do. You don't see guys flopping.
That should be the tolerance for all sports injuries. Hang on, are you bleeding? No, get back in there.
So I had a second one, and this one's sort of what I was talking about before. It's the hot takes you see either in preseason or as a result of the previous season. So, there's a lot of stuff out there if you look at Twitter about Jackson Dart. And if you look at it based on the record of the Giants had last year, the prevailing opinion is that he sucks. And I'm surprised about this because I had a very positive view of Jackson Dart last year. Put the off-field stuff aside that we were mentioning before. But like people are like Jackson Dart needs to prove that he can be a quarterback. He's nothing right now but a guy that just runs the ball. And to me that does a disservice to what Jackson Dart did versus the other quarterbacks who were there. It particularly shows when you talk about Abdul Carter. So there are people out there talking about Abdul Carter saying he needs to recover from his disappointing rookie season. He had a rookie season where people are judging him on sack numbers. Yeah. He had the most pressures of any rookie, and he had among the league lead in pressures, hits, and what they call quick pressures, which I think is a pressure within 2 seconds or 2.5 seconds, one of those things. So the guy is putting up the numbers, but he's not putting up that one number people want from an edge, and that's sacks. And I hate the reliance on sacks. I could have gone on a tangent on that instead, but to me, instead, it's like people looking at his season last year saying this guy sucked or this guy needs to do a lot better. To me, Abdul Carter, he could do exactly what he was doing last year and have 10 sacks this year. Yeah. Sacks are not a function of like what you're doing, or they're not a function of the stat. They're a function of what you're doing and the work you're putting in.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Michael Strahan I won't call him the one-time single season sack leader because I'll get a face from Novak, but a person whose career is built on the sack, I'll put it that way, for many reasons. He's the first one to say sacks are the most overrated stat in sports. They don't really mean that much. You can impact the game as an edge without getting sacks. If you're bottling up the run and turning people back up inside, if you are getting close enough to cause pressures, but the quarterback's getting rid of the ball haphazardly because he knows you're there, and he knows you're coming. I mean, those are all good things for a defense.
Well, there was actually a stat out there that Abdul Carter had 5 pressures that led to intentional groundings last year.
Yeah.
So you don't get a sack for an intentional grounding, but in essence, those 5 plays functioned as a sack. You brought the ball back to where the quarterback was.
Yep. There's that. And of course, just the quarterback dumping the ball off, which is buying a down for us. He may have someone wide open on that play, and Carter's, got one hand on his chest and about to come. And so this quarterback's just dumping the ball off to the flat or whatever. Even on completions, he completely affected that play, saved a touchdown. So it's really doesn't make much sense to just look at stats, but I know that's the base level fan. A lot of people are, and it's seeped from fanhood into media, which is unfortunate.
Well, if I wasn't a Giant fan and didn't watch one snap of Jackson Dart's rookie season, I'm looking at his stats right now, and I guess I didn't look at him closely at the end of last year. They're actually really good in terms for a rookie. Just throw a couple out there. I mean, he completed, just under 64%, pretty good. If you count his rushing touchdowns, the guy had 24 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. 24 to. Yeah. He had
14 or 15 and 9, right?
He had 15 passing, 9 rushing, and then 5 interceptions. That's
pretty good.
I'm gonna count those because we would count those for Cam Newton, right? I mean, so like Newton counts those. I'm gonna count them for Jackson Dart. Why not? Like, so the guy went 24 to 5 touchdowns, interceptions. What he had a little under a 92 rating. He also had carry, his rushing, almost 6 yards a carry. What do we want from this guy in year one?
Exactly.
With still a shitty offensive line?
Yep.
I mean, people are nuts. Like what?
They really are nuts. And, I wouldn't classify him as a running quarterback any more than I'd classify some of the other ones out there. But there is no doubt that the one thing he brought to this offense that it needed badly because of the offensive line was just someone who could keep a play alive more than 10 seconds, that's way long. I'm, more than 3 seconds. Because Daniel Jones was what a lot of people would want to call a running quarterback too, in that there were runs designed for him, just like there were for Dart. But Daniel Jones, I mean, how I feel about the guy. I don't mind him at all. I'm glad he's found success elsewhere, but he didn't have the skills to keep a play alive with his feet. He played behind some terrible offensive lines too, but he wasn't running around left and right back there looking for a receiver. He would just take off. We see that when Lamar Jackson does it, and people absolutely love it. Now, I'm not comparing Jackson Dart to Lamar Jackson, although they won exactly the same amount of playoff games, I believe. Maybe Lamar's got a couple playoff games.
I think Lamar's got one, but yeah.
But yeah, that's a skill you just can't find everywhere. And I don't even know if the Giants knew they were getting it. And when I started seeing that is when I realized, okay, he's going to be good. Because there's other times he stood in the pocket and delivered a pass that I don't, that Eli Manning would have trouble making sometimes. He, to play on his last name, he threw some absolute darts and some dimes in a couple of situations, both on the run and from the pocket.
Yep.
And if that's the appetizer we're getting for this guy's career, pretty good.
Yeah,
sure, man.
I agree. Cardone, pet peeves?
Real quick, I got just one. It kind of just was something I was looking at this morning, so it was just something that kind of came across the my TV screen. Of course, I'm going to the week preseason one here, going to the media kind of thing, and I can't stand because at this point in training camps, preseason games haven't started. It's nothing but question marks, right? So everyone's sort of just trying to figure out who our team is, what the roster is going to be like, and they try to make those somewhat like predictions in terms of who's going to go from worst to first and all that kind of stuff. And what I can't stand are those play on words. This is just a silly pet peeve, guys, but whenever it's the Giants, I'll just use the Giants, of course. There was a little segment on like Get Up this morning. Which I don't plan to watch that much of this shit, but it was the old Giant expectations for 2026. Are the Giants ready to take a giant step forward? And then there was another one where like they were using the Bears, and it was like Chicago needs to bear down on their offensive there's something with their playbook, and I'm like, stop it with those little play on words. I don't know why. It's just a stupid one. It drives me crazy. And with the Giants, it's always the same one. Giant. It's always Giant and then fill in the blank. Giant this, Giant that. So right now we're looking at Giant expectations. It's what you guys know what I'm talking about. Whenever there's with the Giants, they always use that as the adjective and then whatever the thing that's going on. So that's it. That's all I got for pet peeves. A short one, but I'm just just the stupidity.
It's so right. Right on.
Yeah, just the stupidity of like. So I'm just tired of seeing the Giants explain. Whenever their little segments coming up, like Giant question marks in New York. Whatever if something's not going good or Giant exuberation. It's just I'm tired of. Just figure out.
Will the Jets get their season airborne this year? Or are they going to be stuck on the runway? That.
Yeah, exactly. Are they taking off or are they crashing?
Yeah.
Exactly, crashing, burning.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I heard that Chicago needs to bear down. So I'm like, yeah, just stop it. Yeah,
everyone's got to out clever the next person, right?
Exactly.
Even with the Knicks thing, you saw like Taylor Swift, where his T-shirt was like Stevie Nicks, Kniks or CKS. I'm like, how stupid is that?
Play on words. I just stop
Knock it off.
We could have done a pet peeve on the fact they had the wedding at Madison Square Garden.
No,
what does that have to do with either of them? But yeah. So we got a bunch of questions tonight. One came in from a listener that Novak gave us. So this is a good question. What is a realistic best case scenario for the Jets and Giants this year?
Since I had this question, I'll go first. Because I think the way that he asked the question was, obviously we're not going to say win the Super Bowl. Like that's stupid. So what I would say is the Jets are in week 6 or 7. I think they play the Patriots. Someone knocks Geno Smith out, and in comes a guy named Cade Klubnik to do the Tom Brady thing in reverse. And next year we have 3 first-round draft choices without having to take a quarterback, and this team just gets stockpiled, loaded with talent, and the best draft in the history of the NFL, they say, coming up next year. So yeah, that's what I want.
Look at Novak. Novak hated Cade Klubnik.
I do, and I still think he's going to be any good.
Now he wants him as the savior.
Well, of course I do. Why wouldn't I? I mean, I'm probably wrong that he sucks. I mean, I could be wrong that he sucks, but that's mine.
Love it.
I'll say this, guys, look at the Seahawks last year. No one before going into the season said the Seahawks are going to win the Super Bowl. So to me, best case scenario is still a Super Bowl. Now that being said, I think the best case scenario for the Giants is probably a 10-win season, 11-win season, make the playoffs, make a little bit of noise, and try to do what you can. But the way the NFL is now, you could go from worst to first pretty easily.
Yeah.
Well, if I could add on that, I heard also this morning, and I think we kind of knew about this as far as the new teams making playoffs every year. So I don't know if you guys knew this. I did not. I don't think I knew it in these numbers. It's been 36 straight years. Let me say that again. 36 straight years that at least in the NFL where there's been at least 4 new playoff teams from the year before. It's half the league.
Wow.
It's half. I mean, there's 8 divisions. So 36 straight years.
That's
incredible. And Cardone, I think it's like 75% of those years, more than half of the teams have flipped over. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, my answer, to that question specifically would be making the playoffs, Giants making the playoffs, because if there's at least 4 new teams, there's only 16 teams in the conference, whatever. But like you said, Scott, I don't know. Could they win? I don't have their record yet in my head, but they're, obviously best case would be just a playoff spot. Just even great, just sneak in somehow as a 7 seed, something like that. That's the best case for the Giants this year.
Yeah,
Jets,
and I think that's
Novak, yeah. I like your answer. I can't top your answer on that one for the Jets.
Yeah, no, that was really well done. Yeah, I think that's it. I think if it's realistic expectation, I don't think it's unrealistic to think that the Giants, the way they're constructed right now, if they stay healthy, could make the playoffs. And maybe I'm putting too much in a new experienced coach, but every time teams do this, they win immediately. They don't always continue winning. But when teams bring in a coach who's established, in his game and has come off recent success and all that, they get better right away. Now, sometimes that lasts, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes that's a flash in the pan. So yeah, and I fully, everyone's calling the next draft the one of the best NFL draft classes ever. So of course the Giants will win 10 games and pick, mid to late teens in that draft. Of course they will. So yeah, I think that's realistic. I also think realistic falls back in the realm of 4 to 5 wins. I just don't know, but if you're out there right now saying it's impossible for the New York Giants to make the playoffs, not only I think are you understating the talent on the team a little bit and understating the impact of a good, solid head coach, but you're also just ignoring league history. As Cardone just said, you're kind of ignoring it right in the face that most years half the team slip over. And we'll go back to one of our famous things. We said it before the Knicks playoffs started. We say it every year for the Giants and Jets. Why not us? Why not us?
I'll just add real quick. My other thing would be that either the Colts, Cowboys, or Packers are the worst team in the league, and the Jets get the number 1 pick.
There you go.
Yeah. So we got a question from Joe P. He said he saw the pod in the off season. We have a great rap report, and we're funny, hilarious. But what sets us apart from other podcasts, and what do we think of the co-host turnover in the other Giants podcasts? So I'll address that second part first. But in what sets us apart, I think we get a variation of this question every year. And for us, guys, if you give us a listen, even the first time, you're going to see a couple of things. First off is that we are very comfortable with one another. We go into a range of subjects. None of us know exactly where a podcast is going. So one of the things I have a shirt that says the Regal Beagle, and the Regal Beagle actually comes from one of our better bits. Cardone in a I think it was a question and answer scenario we had with something about classic TV. We started talking about the hotness of Mrs. Roper, which I don't want to get too into
Was
depth
it Roper?
on. Was it Mrs. Roper?
I don't know.
No, Mrs. Roper was not hot. That
I
is
don't know if
not
it was Roper,
at all
but
what happened.
Mrs. Furley.
No, Furley was single.
Yeah,
I don't remember who the heck.
We were talking
Lana?
about
Maybe it was Lana.
I think it was Lana.
Might have been Lana.
Whatever.
I'm good.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
We're going on about that, and like we just go off on tangents. This is a podcast that doesn't take ourselves too seriously. We talk about football. We will break it down to where we need to, but we're not going to go into every individual play. You guys don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that, especially when our teams are 3-14. We want to talk about, positive stuff. We want to jovial it up. So, and I'll leave it with this. As much as we talk about football and we talk about everything else, we are the angry football fans for a reason. We hate the NFL and a lot of stuff that goes on with it. And I thought it was Mrs. Roper, but if it isn't Mrs. Roper, I will leave it with this. There is at least one of us who loved Joe from Facts of Life. So that's
that's right.
That's one thing that you never thought you'd have a podcast that would talk about Joe from the Facts of Life.
Well, we also are talking about a show that has Suzanne Summers on it, and Scott went right to Mrs. Roper.
Because I think that's what Cardone said.
I hope I'm pretty sure it wasn't. But
no, it wasn't that she was hot. It was that she was something about the bathrobe. I'm going to replay it at one of these times. But yeah.
She wanted to get busy quite often.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way.
Her sexual ferocity is maybe what I was referring to.
Yeah.
Perhaps. if I could answer, if I may chime in on this question, I thought about this in a way that I could point back to one episode, maybe I forget, maybe in season 2 or 3. Giants were coming off of a brutal Thursday night loss, I want to say, to our rival, the Eagles, and I came on. I think we went back and counted, and I dropped 82 f-bombs in one podcast. So I challenge anybody out there to find a podcast where one guy drops 82 f-bombs in an hour, as you know, over a distraught loss by their team. So I listen to a lot of other pods. I try to get some ideas. I got to be frank. I think they're boring. I got to be honest. I think a lot of them are boring. After 5-7 minutes, I'm done. I quit. You know, like Scott said, our take is to, we do a little bit of everything here. You know, so we'll break down the game. I like to think I pretend to know a little bit about the game of football, that we can talk about the game itself. But anyone who knows me, I'll drop in a Seinfeld reference every chance I get, do that, and we'll talk about all the other stuff on and off the field throughout the week. And so we just try to get our listeners laughing and, just try to laugh ourselves, really. I try to make you guys laugh while we're doing this.
That's the challenge, make each other laugh. I mean, I think that's probably the root of the success here is I love saying something and see you guys crack up. I mean, that is
no
the
doubt.
fun part of it. And I love also, and speaking of the turnover on other podcasts with the host, it's probably like we have the best host in the business. There's no doubt. And even though he can't pronounce rapport when he sees it on a written.
Michael Rappaport is apparently on our podcast.
We just give him the business and we move along. So
He gets 9 out of 10 shout outs completely wrong.
We don't have a drink limit on the 3-year giant, so you can, There's no last call. Just keep firing them back.
No, just keep going.
So I will say this about the turnover for other Giants podcasts. There have been a couple, Giants Insider, Giants Nation. Both of them lost their co-hosts. They brought other co-hosts on. Don't know the particulars behind it necessarily, but I'll go back to what Cardone said. Look, guys, we're here to entertain. We entertain and we educate. We're not here to tell you the breakdown of the film from, the defensive back's point of view, saying he should have had the all 22 that he should have had an interception on this play. You guys can see that. You can see it in live terms. We're here to talk about what we dislike about our teams, what we dislike about the NFL, and what we like about the NFL. And the best thing about us too is I don't think we're ever going to switch hosts because we enjoy one another. This isn't a Beatles situation or where a band's breaking up. We are our friends, and we do this because we like each other. And I'll tell you what, we're looking forward to seeing some of the games this season. Like week 1, we are going to be together to watch the Jets, Titans, and the Giants and the Cowboys.
No doubt.
Solid.
A rough day. Solid.
It's going to be a long day.
That's going to be
a long fucking day.
Yep.
So Peacock Corners here. Peacock says, how should Jets fans feel about Salah running his mouth about a Titans win week 1 versus the Jets? So he's jumping right into the Jets part.
I could give 2 craps what he says about the Jets. He sucked as a coach here. He says he's going to kick our ass. Great. We'll see what happens on game day. I don't put a lot of, if the Jets need bulletin board material by Robert Saleh to win a game, then they are bigger losers than I thought.
Well said. Yeah.
Dave's running his mouth, any?
He can run whatever. Run his mouth whatever he says.
I don't know if Dave's has said anything actually. Dave's has not done much at all.
Well, we are going to have a Titans fan on here, and one thing I will say to him is, so the Titans' way to become a good team is to pluck the coaching staff and the players off the 2 worst teams over the last 15 years. I mean, come on.
Whole strategy there, Cotton.
That sounds great. That sounds like a great way to go to respectability.
So Peacock also asks, Dart jumping off a boat this summer and running headfirst into defenders. How many games does he actually play this year? It's a concern, Peacock. I will say that. Like I think Dart needs to calm it down, and hopefully Harbaugh will get him to do so. Um, I'm going to put his season at 15 to 17 games.
Yeah, he'll clean that shit up. He's heard enough, obviously, this offseason about sliding and avoiding those extra hits and all that. So I'm sure it's something they talk about constantly. He's heard enough of it. He's going to clean that shit up. So I think so too. I think now long season, right? He may miss probably the same thing. I think he's gonna play most of the season. He may miss a game or two just because of a random injury, something like that. But I see him playing a full slate. I think he'll be all right.
Yeah, I mean that girlfriend of his needs Instagram pictures when he's playing,
Yes.
not riding the bench.
No doubt. Yeah, I hope they can clean it up because it's funny. It's the types of stuff he does aren't typically people ignore this all the time. We talk about injuries a lot on this program, but the types of things he does are not really the types of things that usually get people knocked out of games, but they fed the narrative last year. And it's as usual, that's frustrating. As we witnessed with him, once you get that reputation in the league, man, the refs were stopping the game every time he was down on the turf. And several times he got up like, what? And, they're telling him he's got to leave the field for a play. And that's only because of who he is. And so if for no other reason, he's got to stop that, then just to avoid the appearance of a big hit, even if he thinks I barely felt that. It's just something we don't need, and I know that it's got to be the hardest thing in the world, the competitive drive on 3rd and 1 to just throw your body out there to get a first down. But dude, it's the first quarter of a 0-0 game. Punt the ball. It's fine. There are times for that sort of play, and there are times to keep it in the bag a little bit. You got to preserve your health.
Yeah. I hope he learns that too.
Yeah.
So, Peacock asks a final question. This is a really good one. The top 2 head coaches in the league and the bottom 2 head coaches in the league. Since I've seen this question, I'll respond here. I think the top 2 head coaches in the league right now, and this one, the first one's conditional on what ends up happening. Mike Vrabel, to me, is a top head coach. He's one of the best head coaches in the league.
Rossini agrees, by the way.
I'm sure she does. And I also think that John Harbaugh could be too, but Jim Harbaugh is one of the best 2 in the league. I'm going to let you guys do your best before I get into my worst. So let's do best first.
I will say Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay.
Kyle Shanahan to me. Yeah, Kyle Shanahan's a no-brainer to me on that list. I don't agree fully with McVay, although I do think he's a very good coach. But I'm thinking, who I think's an underrated coach, and Novak will slap me, but I think Todd Bowles is a pretty good football coach, but I don't think he's in the top. I'm looking at the list here, trying to see when that really jumps out at me. Vrabel's a really good choice there, despite what's happened with him lately. And along the same lines, I think Dan Campbell's probably a pretty good head football coach too.
That's where I was going. I love McVay with the Rams. I love everything about the guy. Shanahan's up there, I think. Andy Reid, just because of his, just his longevity and his championships and all that. But I was thinking Dan Campbell too. I know he's, hasn't had the full playoff run and all that, but he's another guy that, and his questionable go for it on every goddamn 4th down, of course, but he just seems like the kind of guy I would love to play for and root for if I was a Lion fan. So Dan Campbell, one of my top guys for sure.
Yeah. So when you add those, your top 2, I mean, like I'm looking at the bottom 2.
If you say 2 NFC East coaches, Scott.
No, I'm not. I'm
Okay.
gonna put Campbell in there.
Yeah.
The reason I'm putting Campbell in there is because I think the Lions have had a ton of talent over the last couple of years, and I think it's Dan Campbell's consistent reliance on this go for broke strategy that has screwed them. So to me, he's one of the bottom coaches. And then the other one, it's tough for me to pick another coach because I think a lot of them are gone now. I didn't like a lot of the guys that were fired. I'm not even sure who's the Falcons coach now.
Is it Raheem Morris?
Stefanski.
Or no, no, it
Stefanski.
was Morris.
So Stefanski just got it. So
Yeah.
it's not him. I don't even know who I'd go with the next worst coach. I think I'd have to go with.
I think it's pretty simple.
But
Aaron Glenn and Robert Saleh. I mean, come on.
yeah, but
they're.
I don't know about that. I still don't know what to make of Aaron Glenn. I really don't.
Robert Saleh is awful. I mean, he's terrible. He's got to be one of the worst.
It could be
one of the worst.
Oh, I'm gonna have to punt because I don't really know who another one would be because I like a lot.
Don't you want to say Ben Johnson? How much you hate him?
I actually hate Ben Johnson the person. I think he's probably a pretty good coach.
Yeah, he is.
I got one. How about I think Mike McCarthy sucks.
I do too, but he hasn't done anything
McCarthy
yet
sucks.
to prove that.
Yeah,
It's
that's true.
Yeah.
I that's where I was getting ready to go was McCarthy.
Yeah. He didn't. I kind of had to look at. I didn't even have to look it up. I was just like right away. I'm like, I think McCarthy. I just think he sucks. I just don't think he brings anything.
Well, here's one of the worst things: is one of the best coaches I think is Mike Tomlin. He's not coaching the team right now.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, I there's a guy that everyone talks about and loves, and I thought he looked a little in over his head last year a couple times, which is his first year head coaching. So I'll give him that. Same with Aaron Glenn; he looked over his head sometimes, but hard to pick a first year guy and say they're the worst out there. I think, but and this team got better near the end of the year, but I think Kellen Moore looks a little lost out there as a head coach.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm. Overrated. He certainly isn't in the bottom two, but a coach that I think is really overrated in the NFL is Matt LaFleur for Green Bay.
That's a good one.
I just think he's wildly overrated.
One. Yeah, overrated is a good one. I don't know if he's the worst, but he's
definitely
not, overrated.
Yeah,
overrated.
I think he's probably a decent coach. I don't think he's down there in the bottom 5 or whatever, but I do think he's a little overrated.
Yeah. That's a good question because it's
really
a good question. It's tough to pinpoint those bottom 2.
It's always a good question if like 1 or 2 people give one guy as an example of this is one of the 2 or 3 best, and another guy puts him in one of the 2 or 3 worst. That means that's a really good question.
I mean, Aaron Glenn is a self-described butthole, so he's got.
I noticed we didn't put Sirianni in anywhere on either list.
Yeah.
So I
don't think he's a very good coach, but you can't argue with the W's.
I think Sirianni's right in the middle. I would have said the same about Doug Peterson had he not gone to Jacksonville. So it's like this time last year, we might have been making fun of the Jacksonville guy with Duval.
That's right.
That he went out and made the playoffs.
Duval.
So. Yeah. Can't say Liam Cohen. He's always done his 113 games.
Mike had his name. I could. You gave me 20 minutes. I don't think I would have pulled his name out without Googling it. So we have a guy, Trevor, who asked a question, and Novak almost answered this anyway. Why does Geno Smith get out of control when he becomes a Jet?
I already talked.
He's not the only one who noticed.
Yeah.
There's no point in going back over that. We know. But good question.
So my friend Mike, he asks a couple questions, and this one's for Novak too. Do you agree Aaron Glenn sounds more calm than this time last year? And is that a good thing?
100%. Last year he was telling all the writers that, I'm not going to answer your questions and being all, trying to be Parcells up there. And this year he's calling himself a butthole. He, says that, he's just very calm and no phrases, no nothing. So they're going about it more workmanlike this year, which I like.
And then his second question was, which QBs now on other rosters might shake loose that you guys might be interested in picking up?
I wouldn't mind picking up Baker Mayfield.
You think he's shaking loose?
Well, I don't know that he's not going to be cut, but I think that whole contract situation is something to look for. Do I think that there's a chance that they might decide to cut bait and start over and let Bowles be fired in the first 10 games? Yeah. That team probably needs to break it down and start back up. And so if that's the case, would I want the Jets maybe to take a run at Baker Mayfield? Maybe. I don't know.
And then there's
would you really consider other quarterbacks who might find a way to shake loose, like JJ McCarthy or
Deshaun
Kyler
Watson?
Murray, Deshaun Watson, Shador Sanders,
No, God.
Brissett.
I mean, we're talking like starters. Like we could all go backups, and that doesn't really
yeah.
Did
do a
Kirk
whole
Cousins
lot, right?
retire?
No, he's Kirk Cousins.
He's he's on the
Um,
roster somewhere, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he's on the Raiders.
Yeah,
Raiders,
he's going to be
that's
the
right.
he's going to be the starter, right? Did I
Yeah,
just
he
hear
is.
that he's
Is
he
lined up to
really?
be the starter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was announced
Yeah.
the starter.
Mike also asks one final question, and I have the answer that I could look at here, but I don't know what it is yet. Which Giant starter is an accomplished musician, and what instrument does he play?
Hmm.
Is
I
that's
knew-
a trivia question?
Yes, I knew Bernie Williams with the Yankees
Yeah, he
playing
was a
guitar,
pretty good
but I
guitarist.
don't
Oh,
think
I know
could,
this. Is it Juju Smith-Schuster?
Guitar?
I haven't looked yet. I'll look in a second.
I think it's Juju Smith-Schuster. I want to say I saw something about that.
Um,
I might be wrong, but I thought that's who it was.
it is not.
Okay, who is it?
Oh.
It is Andrew Thomas, who has the piano and drums.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
I
had no
would
clue.
not have gotten that. No.
Yeah, had no idea.
Nope.
No, no.
Cool.
You guys got anything else for tonight?
Wonder what they mean by an accomplished
Right.
musician. Like, does he play in Carnegie Hall? Like, what's an accomplished musician?
That's a good one. I don't know.
It's like when Costanza asks, "What do you need to do? How do you qualify to be a buff?" You know, I'm like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
how
he's
do
a
you be
Civil
a
War
buff?"
buff." Well, how do you become a buff? How do you
I
know
wanna
you're
be
a buff? Who tells you you're a buff? How do you know?
So we are the angry football fans. This is the end of our first. I guess it would be pre-camp because we really don't have preseason because we haven't had preseason games. The to Mike's point earlier, we have the Hall of Fame game of this week. That's the Carolina Panthers versus the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
But then after that, we'll have our games that are starting. So we're getting back in the swing of things. As I mentioned before, we're going to have some guests from other teams here. So stay tuned and keep us around. So guys, any last parting comments?
I'll
September
just say
2nd.
about that Hall of Fame game. I wouldn't watch that if it was week 17, winner make the playoffs. So there's no chance I'm watching it in the preseason.
No.
That is a brutal watch. I mean, what WNBA game is on that night? I'll be watching that.
Or the Liberty on.
Yeah.
I'll just end with September 2nd, Carolina Beer Temple. There will be trivia. This year we're going to do it differently. And Donkey is a really good band that's for, right in our demographic, 80s and 90s rock. And so really good band. So, looking forward to that.
Nice.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Until then, we're out.
See you.
See ya.